The champagne flute shattered against the cabin floor with a sharp crack, drawing every eye in first class to the scene unfolding mid-flight over the Atlantic. Yates Harrington, his hands still outstretched in shock, locked eyes with his partner Jordan Ellis, whose face flushed with a mix of anger and humiliation as the flight attendant's mocking laughter echoed through the hushed compartment. "Oh, honey, careful with those delicate hands. Wouldn't want to ruin your manicure?" The attendant sneered, her voice dripping with sarcasm that cut deeper than any broken glass. Yates and Jordan had boarded the red-eye from New York to London with high hopes, celebrating their 5th anniversary in style after scraping together miles for the upgrade. Yates, a 32-year-old software engineer from Brooklyn, had always been the planner, the one who mapped out every detail to make life feel secure in a world that often wasn't. Jordan, 30, a graphic designer with a flair for the dramatic, balanced him out with spontaneous energy that kept their relationship alive amid the grind of city life. They'd met at a Pride event in Manhattan, where Jordan's bold artwork caught Yates's eye, and from that spark grew a partnership built on quiet resilience against the subtle prejudices that still lingered in even the most progressive corners of America. But this flight was supposed to be their escape, a bubble of luxury where they could hold hands without second glances. Instead, it started unraveling from takeoff. The attendant, a woman in her mid-40s named Karen. Yes, that was her actual name, as her badge proclaimed, had been curt from the start. When they requested sparkling water, she rolled her eyes. "Coming right up, gentlemen," she said, emphasizing the word like it was a punchline. Jordan whispered to Yates that she seemed off, but they brushed it aside, not wanting to spoil the mood. As the plane leveled out, Karen returned with their drinks, but her tray wobbled suspiciously, spilling a splash onto Jordan's lap. "Oopsie," she giggled, not bothering to offer a napkin. Yates reached for his own to help, but in the confined space, his elbow knocked the champagne flute she'd just set down. That's when the mockery erupted. Passengers murmured, some shifting uncomfortably, others pretending not to notice. A businessman across the aisle cleared his throat, but no one intervened. Jordan's eyes welled up, not from the spill, but from the sting of being reduced to a stereotype in front of strangers. Yates felt a surge of protectiveness. "That was uncalled for," he said firmly, his voice steady despite the adrenaline. Karen straightened, her smile turning icy. "Excuse me? I'm just doing my job. If you can't handle a little joke, maybe first class isn't for you." The implication hung heavy. "People like you." Jordan gripped Yates's hand under the armrest, whispering, "Let it go, babe. It's not worth it." But Yates couldn't. He'd faced enough microaggressions in boardrooms and bars to know that silence only empowered them. He pressed the call button, summoning the purser, a stern man named Mike who arrived with a clipboard and a forced neutrality. "What's the issue here?" Mike asked, glancing between them. Yates recounted the incident calmly, emphasizing the attendant's tone and the unnecessary humiliation. Karen interjected, "They overreacted to a spill. It's a long flight. Everyone's tired." But Jordan added, "It wasn't just the spill. It was the way she said it, like we're some freak show." Mike nodded, promising to handle it, and escorted Karen to the galley. Whispers rippled through the cabin. A young woman a few rows back leaned over to her companion. "Did you hear that? So rude." But an older couple nearby muttered about snowflakes and making a fuss over nothing. Yates and Jordan sat in tense silence, the joy of their anniversary evaporating like the spilled champagne. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a storm that would upend not only their flight but the lives of everyone involved. As minutes ticked by, Mike returned, his face paler. "Folks, we've got a situation. The captain's been informed, and we're reviewing protocol." Jordan frowned. "What does that mean?" Mike hesitated. "Your complaint aligns with our zero-tolerance policy on discrimination. But there's more. Karen's not new to this." Yates's curiosity piqued. Apparently, this wasn't her first rodeo. Complaints had piled up over years, from racial slurs to ableist remarks, but she'd always skated by on technicalities. The plane hit mild turbulence, mirroring the emotional upheaval. Jordan leaned his head on Yates's shoulder, seeking comfort in the familiar scent of his cologne. "Why does this keep happening to us?" he murmured. Yates sighed, stroking his hair. "Because the world hasn't caught up yet. But we're not backing down." Their conversation turned introspective, recalling past battles. The family Thanksgiving where Jordan's conservative uncle refused to acknowledge their relationship, or the time Yates's boss implied his lifestyle might hinder promotions. These scars had forged their bond, but each new wound tested it. Suddenly, an announcement crackled over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. Due to an onboard incident, we'll be making an unscheduled landing in Boston for crew changes. We apologize for the inconvenience." Gasps filled the air. Yates and Jordan exchanged wide-eyed looks. Had their complaint triggered this? Passengers grumbled, some shooting them accusatory glares. The businessman from earlier approached discreetly. "Good on you for speaking up. My son's gay. Stuff like this boils my blood." His words offered a sliver of validation amid the chaos. As the plane descended, tensions escalated. Karen emerged from the galley, red-faced and arguing with Mike. "This is ridiculous. Over a joke?" She hissed loudly enough for half the cabin to hear. Other crew members hovered, their expressions a mix of sympathy and resentment. One flight attendant, a younger guy named Tyler, whispered to a colleague, "She's been a nightmare for months. About time." But the divide was clear. Some saw it as justice, others as overkill. Touchdown in Boston brought federal agents aboard. Airline protocol for discrimination claims escalated to potential hate incidents. Yates and Jordan gave statements, their hands clasped tightly. Karen denied everything, claiming it was banter. But witnesses corroborated their account. The purser revealed dashcam-like audio from the galley, where Karen had boasted about putting those queens in their place. Shockwaves rippled. The entire crew was grounded pending investigation, as policy dictated for complicity or failure to report. By the time they reboard with a new team, the story had leaked online via passenger tweets. Airline fail trended, with supporters praising the swift action and critics decrying cancel culture run amok. Yates and Jordan, exhausted but united, settled into their seats for the remaining leg. "Did we do the right thing?" Jordan asked softly. Yates nodded. "Absolutely. Silence isn't an option anymore." But as the plane lifted off again, doubts crept in. Had they ruined lives over words? The media frenzy hit like a Category 5 hurricane the moment they landed in London. Yates's phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Articles from CNN to the Daily Mail splashed headlines about the first-class fiasco. Jordan, scrolling through Twitter, now X, in their hotel room, read aloud, "Gay couple's complaint leads to entire crew firing, heroic stand or hypersensitivity?" Comments poured in, a toxic brew of solidarity and vitriol. One user wrote, "Finally, accountability for bigots," while another snarled, "Entitled snowflakes ruining jobs over a joke. Get over it." They'd intended a quiet anniversary trip, exploring London's queer history at places like the Stonewall in equivalent or cozy pubs in Soho. Instead, they found themselves at the center of a cultural firestorm. Yates, ever the pragmatist, suggested turning off their phones. "We didn't ask for this," he said, pulling Jordan into a hug. But Jordan, with his artistic soul, felt the weight of representation. "Maybe we should speak out. Show it's not just about us. It's about everyone who's ever been belittled." Back in the States, the airline's PR machine spun into overdrive. A statement released, "We maintain a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination. The involved crew has been terminated following a thorough investigation." But leaks revealed the thorough part was expedited. Audio evidence sealed Karen's fate. But the rest of the crew? Mike had known about her past complaints and hadn't escalated them. Tyler, the sympathetic attendant, had even liked a tweet mocking LGBTQ plus passengers months prior. The firings weren't just punitive. They were a corporate cleanse to avoid lawsuits. Yates's sister, Emily, called from Chicago, her voice laced with concern. "Bro, you're viral. Mom's freaking out. Says it's dangerous to be so public." Their family dynamics had always been strained. Yates came out at 18, met with tepid acceptance from parents who preferred, "Don't ask, don't tell." Jordan's family was worse, disowned after he brought Yates home for Christmas. These personal histories fueled their resolve, but also amplified the emotional toll. "We're fine," Yates assured her. "It's blowing over." But was it? Protests erupted outside the airline's headquarters in Atlanta. LGBTQ plus advocates waved rainbow flags, chanting for systemic change, while counter-protesters held signs reading, "Free speech in the skies." Karen, now jobless, gave an interview to a conservative outlet. "I was just teasing. They twisted it into hate. Now my family's suffering because of two oversensitive guys." Her words ignited backlash. Supporters started a GoFundMe for her, raising thousands under victim of woke mob. Jordan watched the clip, his stomach churning. She's playing the victim? After what she said. Yates paced the hotel room, grappling with guilt. What if she's right? We didn't mean for everyone to lose their jobs. Jordan cupped his face. Babe, her tease was laced with poison. And the crew? They enabled it. Remember that time at work when your colleague made those jokes? And no one stopped him? It escalates. Their dialogue unearthed deeper conflicts. Yates's tendency to second-guess, born from years of internalized doubt, clashed with Jordan's fiery advocacy. A knock at the door startled them. A reporter from The Guardian tipped off about their location. "No comment," Yates said firmly, but Jordan hesitated. "Wait, let's do it. Control the narrative." The interview delved into their story, how a simple flight became a battleground for dignity. They spoke of the subtle erosions, stares in restaurants, denied services at B&Bs, culminating in this explosive moment. "It's not about fragility," Jordan explained. "It's about respect. In 2026, shouldn't we be past this?" The piece went live, humanizing them amid the chaos. Celebrities retweeted, from Elton John to local influencers, amplifying their voice. But hate mail flooded their inboxes. Threats, slurs, echoes of the attendant's mockery. Yates's employer, a tech firm, offered support but hinted at distractions. Jordan's freelance gigs dried up as clients feared association. The societal backlash highlighted America's fractured landscape, progress in laws, but persistent undercurrents of bias. In quiet moments, they reaffirmed their love. Walking hand in hand through Hyde Park, Jordan said, "This trip was supposed to be about us." Yates smiled. "It still is. We've faced worse." But tension simmered. Yates blamed himself for escalating, while Jordan worried about Yates's withdrawal. A heated argument ensued back at the hotel. "You always play it safe," Jordan accused. "And you charge in without thinking." Yates shot back. Tears followed, then reconciliation in each other's arms, a reminder that their bond was their anchor. As they prepared to fly home, the airline comped their return in ultra-luxury, with apologies from the CEO. But the victory felt hollow. Online, debates raged. Was zero tolerance too rigid? Did context matter? Karen's allies painted her as a working-class hero crushed by elites, ignoring her history. Yates and Jordan boarded warily, the new crew overly polite, almost fearful. Mid-flight, a passenger approached. "You're brave. My partner and I thank you." Small wins amid the storm. Home in Brooklyn felt like a sanctuary turned battlefield. Their apartment, a cozy two-bedroom filled with Jordan's vibrant art and Yates's tech gadgets, now buzzed with interview requests and well-wishers. But the controversy had infiltrated their daily lives. Neighbors whispered in the hallway. A local diner owner, a known conservative, refused them service with a smug policy change. Jordan fumed. "This is retaliation." Yates, channeling his logical side, suggested legal action, but the emotional drain was mounting. The airline's investigation report leaked, detailing Karen's pattern. Complaints from black passengers about suspicious behavior, snide remarks to disabled travelers. The crew's complicity? Emails showed Mike dismissing prior reports as overblown. Tyler's social media history revealed homophobic memes. Firings were justified, but critics argued for retraining over termination in a tough economy. "They're punishing the whole team for one bad apple," a union rep claimed on TV. Yates dove into work, coding late nights to escape the noise, but his focus wavered. A promotion he'd slipped away. His boss cited external distractions. Jordan's designs, usually snapped up by clients, faced rejections laced with veiled judgments. "Your public profile might not align," one email read. Financial stress loomed. Their anniversary splurge had tapped savings, and now gigs evaporated. "We need to fight back," Jordan urged. They contacted the ACLU, who saw potential for a broader lawsuit on airline discrimination. Family dynamics fractured further. Yates's parents visited, his mom tiptoeing around the topic. "We're proud, but maybe tone it down," she suggested. Jordan excused himself, hurt by the implication. Later, alone, Yates confronted them. "This isn't a choice we made lightly. It's about equality." His dad grumbled about stirring the pot, revealing generational rifts. Jordan's estranged brother reached out via text. "Saw the news. Proud of you, bro. A tentative olive branch, but laced with years of pain." Social circles split. Friends rallied with dinner parties and support groups, sharing stories of similar encounters. One couple recounted a wedding venue cancellation due to moral concerns, but others distanced themselves, fearing backlash. "It's too political," a mutual friend said. The isolation deepened their reliance on each other, but also bred resentment. Jordan snapped during a late-night talk. "If you just ignored her," Yates recoiled, "and let her win?" "No." Their arguments circled themes of risk versus reward, echoing societal debates on activism. A turning point came at a rally in Manhattan, where they were invited to speak. Hundreds gathered, signs reading "Fly with Pride" and "End Airborne Bigotry." Yates, microphone in hand, shared vulnerably, "We didn't want fame. We wanted respect." Jordan added, "This is bigger than us. It's about every marginalized person tired of being the punchline." Cheers erupted, but counter-protesters shouted slurs, requiring police intervention. The event galvanized them, but a thrown bottle narrowly missed Jordan, shaking their resolve. Media scrutiny intensified. A Fox News segment dissected their agenda, with pundits claiming the incident was staged for attention. "These guys are activists, not victims," one host sneered. Liberal outlets defended them, but even allies questioned the crew-wide firings. Proportional response? Online, doxing threats emerged. Their address leaked, prompting a move to a friend's spare room. Paranoia set in. Every glance on the subway felt hostile. Through it all, their relationship evolved. Intimate conversations revealed insecurities. Yates's fear of abandonment, rooted in childhood bullying. Jordan's need for validation after familial rejection. They sought therapy, a couple's counselor specializing in LGBTQ+ issues, who helped unpack the trauma. "This event amplified existing wounds," she noted. Sessions fostered empathy, turning conflict into growth. As lawsuits brewed, the airline sued for defamation by Karen, while Yates and Jordan countersued for emotional distress. The public tide shifted. A viral video from a former colleague exposed Karen's bigotry, tipping sympathy their way. But doubts lingered. Had they overplayed their hand? Jordan confided in Yates one night, "What if we're the villains in someone else's story?" Yates held him close. "We're human. That's enough." The climax loomed with a court date set, but settlements whispered in the wings. Their story had sparked policy changes. Airlines nationwide reviewed training on inclusivity. Yet, personal costs mounted. Lost friends, strained finances, eroded trust. As they navigated this new reality, the question hung. Was the pursuit of justice worth the personal wreckage? The courtroom in downtown Manhattan buzzed with anticipation, reporters cramming the benches as Yates and Jordan took their seats. The lawsuit against the airline for negligence in handling discrimination had ballooned into a class action, with other passengers joining claims of similar mistreatment. Karen countersued for wrongful termination and defamation, her lawyer painting her as a scapegoat in a woke witch hunt. Jordan squeezed Yates's hand under the table, his palm sweaty with nerves. "We've got this," Yates whispered, though his own heart raced. Testimonies unfolded like a scripted drama. Witnesses from the flight recounted Karen's sneer, the spilled drink, the galley boasts captured on audio. "It felt targeted," one passenger said. The airline's rep admitted lapses in oversight, offering settlements to avoid trial. But Karen took the stand defiantly. "I was joking. In my generation, that's how we bantered." Cross-examination exposed inconsistencies. Her social media liked anti-LGBTQ+ posts, contradicting her no malice claim. Outside, protests clashed. Rainbow banners versus signs decrying job killers. A conservative talk show host interviewed Karen post-hearing. "These men destroyed my life over words." Sympathy surged in certain circles, with donations pouring in. But a bombshell dropped. A leaked email chain showed crew members joking about handling the gays in group chats. Public outrage flipped. The airline severed ties completely, and unions distanced themselves. Yates and Jordan's turn on the stand was raw. Yates detailed the emotional impact. Sleepless nights, anxiety spikes, the erosion of their anniversary joy. "It's not just about that flight. It's the cumulative weight of a lifetime of dismissals." Jordan, voice trembling, spoke of representation. "We stood up so others wouldn't have to." The judge's sympathetic nods bolstered them, but defense attorneys grilled. "Didn't you escalate unnecessarily?" Yates countered calmly. "Respect isn't optional." Post-hearing, they retreated to Central Park for solace. Benches under blooming trees offered respite, but conversations turned heated. "What if we lose?" Jordan fretted. Yates, optimistic, said, "We've already won by sparking change." But privately, Yates battled imposter syndrome. Had their privilege, white middle class, amplified their story over others? Jordan voiced similar doubts. "People of color face worse daily, and we're the face of this?" Self-reflection deepened their activism, leading to alliances with intersectional groups. Settlement talks ensued. The airline offered hefty compensation, enough to cover therapy, lost income, even a proper vacation. Karen's suit faltered, her credibility shredded. But victory tasted bittersweet. She faced unemployment in her 40s, her family strained. Online, debates evolved. Firing the crew, fair or excessive? Polls showed a split, with younger generations favoring accountability, older ones lamenting lost nuance. Their relationships strained under the spotlight. A paparazzi chase led to a panic attack for Jordan. Yates's work suffered from distractions. They argued over exposure. Jordan wanted a book deal to share their story. Yates preferred privacy. "We've given enough," he said. Reconciliation came through shared vulnerability. A weekend getaway to the Hamptons, where beach walks mended fissures. "I love you more for your courage," Yates admitted. Jordan smiled. "And I for your steadiness." Broader impacts rippled. Congressional hearings on airline inclusivity, inspired by their case. Companies nationwide bolstered DEI training. But backlash persisted, boycotts against the airline from conservative groups, threats to LGBTQ+ advocates. Yates and Jordan became reluctant icons, speaking at conferences, their story a cautionary tale of progress's price. As the dust settled, they reflected on choices. Had speaking up empowered or endangered? Friends shared mixed views. Some hailed them heroes, others warned of burnout. Therapy helped navigate, emphasizing boundaries. Financially secure from the settlement, they donated to queer charities, turning pain into purpose. Yet, scars remained, trust issues, hypervigilance in public. The saga's end brought closure, but questions lingered. In a polarized America, where did accountability end and forgiveness begin? Their love endured, stronger for the trials, a testament to resilience amid societal storms. Months later, life normalized in fits and starts. Yates returned to coding with renewed focus, landing a better role at a progressive firm. Jordan's art flourished, commissions pouring in for pieces inspired by their ordeal. Vibrant canvases depicting unity amid chaos. Their Brooklyn apartment, now fortified with security, felt like home again. Anniversaries shifted from extravagance to intimacy. Quiet dinners, shared dreams under starlit roofs. But echoes of the incident persisted. A follow-up article revealed Karen's new job at a budget carrier, her lessons learned, or not. "I've grown," she claimed in an op-ed. But skeptics noted her continued conservative affiliations. The fired crew scattered. Mike retired early. Tyler pivoted to hospitality with apologies on LinkedIn. Societal rifts highlighted. Urban progressives versus rural traditionalists. Generational divides on jokes versus harm. Yates and Jordan engaged selectively, mentoring young LGBTQ+ folks through online forums. "Your voice matters," they advised, drawing from experience. Personal growth shown. Yates embraced boldness, Jordan learned patience. Their bond, tested by fire, emerged unbreakable. Holidays mended family ties. Yates's parents attended Pride. Jordan's brother visited for coffee. Small victories in a vast landscape. Yet, the controversy's legacy sparked ongoing debates. Schools incorporated their story into curricula on empathy. Workplaces mandated bias training. But critics argued overreach. One complaint shouldn't tank careers. Supporters countered, silence perpetuates injustice. The airline thrived post-scandal, stock rising on inclusive branding. In reflective moments, they pondered alternatives. What if they'd laughed it off? Would change have come slower? Their choices, fraught with consequence, underscored life's gray areas. Friends debated over wine. Heroic or hasty? Opinions varied, mirroring America's soul-searching. As they planned a vow renewal simple, surrounded by allies, the future beckoned brightly. Love, they realized, was both shield and sword in a world of conflicts. Through it all, they'd chosen dignity over ease, sparking ripples far beyond that fateful flight. Was the swift firing of the entire crew a justified stand against discrimination, or an excessive punishment that overlooked the nuances of human error?